Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide, with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time, to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the allies, Arrowhead Allies.
Kansas City, we are back to back to back to back to back 6 straight AFC Championship games. This time, your Kansas City Chiefs are the villains on the road in Baltimore this Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern time, where your Kansas City Chiefs go in as the 3-point underdog. Those naysayers and pundits will always predict against the Chiefs. They'll be like, just like every other AFC Championship game and Super Bowl. They'll be like, I just don't believe in Patrick and the Chiefs this time. I just don't see them winning this time. I just don't see them taking it this time. Well, then you can just sit on back, because your Kansas City Chiefs are about to head to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kansas City Chiefs, freaks worldwide of all ages, welcome to another incredible edition of Arrowhead Allies. We got the legendary Joe Theismann joining us shortly. Mr. Electricity, Clint Schweitzer, what you got to say? What you got to say?
Well, I got G-Pick in the comments talking about some clown picking the Buffalo Bills last week. There were actually 2 such clowns.
Two clowns.
They're up here. And you know what? I feel a little bit like Big Pete or Franklin Finkley from Saved by the Bell this week. Ow, I'm telling. Yes, I will admit, I went full-on wimp mode last week, picking the Bills to win this game. I saw this road, and I thought, you know what? This is too hard. Going on the road for 2 games, you go to Buffalo, who's trying to break through. You got to go to Baltimore, who's the 1 seed, with Lamar Jackson playing at an MVP caliber level right now. And I thought, no, I don't want it. These other teams want the chips. It's like being in the chip aisle at the store and some idiots reaching around you. You give up the space. You say, forget it, pal. You want it more than me. I'll tell you, G-Pick, my mind has completely changed. I'm a new man because I'm relishing in it. 6 straight AFC Championship games. I said, you need to know when you're living in the golden years, like Andy Bernard said in The Office, 6 straight AFC Championship games. We are living in the golden years. And the other clown, well, I don't consider him a clown. It's my good friend, Noah Conner. You had a 27-24 victory for the Bills. Michael Matthew had 27-24 for the Chiefs. So that's how close this game was and could have went either way, guys.
Absolutely. And I thought that I was going to be right. Horrifically, I did not want to see it, but we had our good friend McCole Hardman try to fumble the game away. He already fumbled once in this game. Luckily, Justin Watson fell on the ball and saved it for the Chiefs. But this one, we were not so lucky. Why Andy Reid even called this again in the red zone, getting too cute when you're just smashing them with the run game. You got a couple yards to go to get into that end zone. He runs an end around with McCole Hardman, who fumbles the ball through the end zone and tried to take our 6th straight AFC Championship from us. But this defense and Patrick Mahomes would not be denied.
Noah. Be nice. We're talking about the good things that happen.
You will not defend McCole Hardman anymore. I'm done with it.
I'm not defending him.
Won't allow it.
He made a huge mistake that I'm pretty sure he walked away knowing, like, damn, hopefully I didn't cost my team. But there was a lot of positives that went on this game, and that's what we're focusing on, because the game is done. The Chiefs are the winners, and they play some great football. Honestly, if McCole doesn't make this blunder, but we can't just blame McCole. The coaches should have pounded the ball with the running backs, who were doing a great job the entire game. But they found a way. They took care of business. Hey, you can either have McCole Hardman or you can be the kickers for the Buffalo Bills, who lost his team the game. And I'd rather be McCole Hardman, where you're a winner. And at the end of the day, the Chiefs are a champion. It's hard. Rudy Donovich said, the heart of a champion. And that's such a real thing. And the Chiefs showed that. We were talking about it before we went live, Shane. I think the Chiefs like it better being on the road and being that underdog team, and it helps them come and galvanize with one another to say, hey, it's just us versus the world. Let's go and make it happen. And they did it on Sunday night. And hey, shout out to those Chiefs, baby.
Amen to that. You know, Patrick Mahomes, you could see it in his eyes. Every drive, every time he took the field, he wanted it. And you could tell, as Marty Schottenheimer likes to say, he wasn't going to be denied. You could see it every drive he went out on the field. Granted, like Noah brought up, Mecole Hardman, those 2 fumbles. And in my opinion, like we talked about before we came here on camera, Mecole Hardman is his body and his head aren't the same. In 2 playoff games, he didn't try to reach for the ball on 2 passes. And in 2 times he touched the ball, he got hit and he fumbled. He's playing like he doesn't want to get hit. He looks like a field goal kicker out there trying to run, and then he gets hit. He's worried about getting hit and he fumbles. It's in his head. I don't know why. I think I'm going to give Andy Reid the benefit of the doubt. I believe he's not going to call that play if it comes up in his playbook next week. But let's indeed, like Michael said, this is freaking awesome. This season success. We're in the AFC Championship game for the 6th time in a row. This is a down year, and we're still in the AFC Championship game. And like Michael said, I love being on the road. I love it because the Baltimore Ravens don't have this current roster doesn't have AFC Championship experience.
Yeah.
These Chiefs go in there, and when this game starts going back and forth late in the 3rd quarter and early in the 4th, the pressure is really going to be on Baltimore. The pressure already is on Baltimore going in. Yes, Lamar Jackson is having an MVP season without a doubt, but this is his first AFC Championship game, and he knows Patrick freaking Mahomes is on the other side with it here and with it here. I love it. What you think, Clint?
Yeah, I think that we got to start talking about this defense and how it's a slow starting defense, and it's a defense that's incapable of turning the ball over, as we've seen. And that's something to watch for this Sunday and beyond. This defense is incapable of turning the ball over. That's why a big reason why the Chiefs had, -9 in the turnover margin as the season went on. But what we do have to give it credit for is for the past 7 games, the Chiefs have not given up more than 7 points in the second half for the past 7 weeks. And so if you're going to tell me that's what's going to happen coming up here on Sunday, give the Ravens 7 points. The Chiefs are winning and going to yet another Super Bowl if the defense is able to continue at that clip. I think Lamar and this Ravens offense provides a unique challenge. We know what it is. We know they run the football. Yeah. We know Lamar Jackson's having an MVP caliber season. Yeah. We know this Ravens offense is built to win in the playoffs. Yeah. Mahomes' magic is alive and well, and I'm a changed man. You guys can see it in my eyes. You talk about Patrick Mahomes in his eyes, you can see it in mine. I'm a different person. I was a wimp last week. I said it's too hard. Now I'm kind of riding high a little bit. I'm thinking, you know what? It's kind of like believing in God. Like, hey, maybe he's there, maybe he's not. And it doesn't hurt anything just to be like, maybe so, right? Why not believe in Patrick Mahomes all the same?
Faith is a beautiful thing. Amen.
Hey, and when it comes to the Chiefs, man, like just looking at the team, the only weakness that we've looked at this team roster was pretty much like, man, the receivers, they can't play, they aren't catching the ball, things like that. They're catching the ball now. MVS is out there looking like his.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
But hey, he had 2 catches, 2 big catches, and just like Mecole Hardman, because of his speed, it forces defenses to have to play a certain way.
Don't force anybody to do anything.
No, you just have to. Did you see how many people had to flash to that ball because they saw him coming across to get it? And same thing with MVS. Like you have to have that safety sitting over the top, because if you don't have a safety there, those catches can become touchdowns. So the speed that they have is great, and just the Chiefs look like a team that has no weaknesses. They have the best quarterback. Their running game is looking amazing with IP, Ip Man, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You have the tight ends, of course, with Kelsey leading that group. The receivers are actually catching the ball. Rashee Rice, we know that he's a baller. The O-line, especially if they're healthy, Joe Thuney is going to be there. They probably are the best unit remaining with the Final Four. And then on the defensive side, every level is good. And then, of course, Townsend and butt kicker there. So the Chiefs just have no weaknesses, and that's kind of what we saw last year from the team, is that every spot is
Run
either
defense.
great or good. Yeah, but even that's, I think the Chiefs kind of were like, hey, we just don't want Josh Allen to get hot and make it that type of game where he's making big time pass plays down the field. They may get some yards from the 20 to 20, but once they get into the red zone, we're gonna make it tough. And I think that was part of the game plan, and they were able to make it happen. But what's up, Brian? I know you got a lot to say about this Chiefs.
Welcome
victory,
in.
First off, mic check 1, 2, and 2. We good?
Good.
We good.
Yes.
We're good.
All right. Look, man, it's a celebratory day right here on Arrowhead Allies because I have my microwave going right now. Clint and Noah, there's some crow heating up for you. All right, so
we never properly warmed up the crow for you guys to eat about the receivers. So once you guys eat that, I will gladly eat my Bills crow.
They're almost in the Super Bowl. What can we say?
Look, man, the Chiefs are peaking at the right time.
Yes.
And I told people, like, look, there's no magical playoff button that the Chiefs turn on or anything like that. But when you have championship DNA in your locker room that was drafted in your locker room, like think about the three most important guys on the team: Mahomes, Kelsey, and Jones. Probably throwing Snead in there too, but we'll just stick with those three. They were all drafted here. They were all built here, and they have all won multiple championships here. So going down this stretch of adversity that the Chiefs are going down, you know, with the offense sputtering, receivers, penalties, whatever. I knew that when things got heated, when it's time to walk down the aisle, as Ric Flair would say, and here we are. The defense is consistent as they've been all season long. Yes, they had a few misplays against Josh Allen, but man, they were fighting for their playoffs live. They were in Buffalo, and they still played a tremendous game, especially in the second half when they only allowed 7 points on a laser dart on a 3rd and forever for Josh Allen, probably his best throw of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But with all that being said, man, these guys know what it takes to win a championship in the most crucial of times. They've been behind 24 points and won a playoff game. They was behind 10 points in the Super Bowl and still won in the 4th quarter. So that's why I have no fear with these guys. As long as those three are together on this team, there's no fear, Chiefs Kingdom. I'm telling you, the button has been pushed, and playoff Patrick was here to play.
Amen. And let me say
we
this
talked
real
about
quick.
some of these injuries here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Willie Gay says, I'm going to be great on game day. At St. Louis Max says, you good, King? And Willie Gay says he's going to be good. So that's good to hear because he went out with the neck injury. The other injuries, Mike Edwards went out with a concussion. We're going to wait to see if he can get through concussion protocol and return. Joe Tooney, or Jaw Tooney, as I was rushing and just did JH, is out with a pec injury. We'll see if he can return. And then McCall has no heart, so I don't know if he'll be ready for the game. So we're waiting to see on those three players.
Nice little IR for McCall would be little phantom IR.
Having Willie Gay is the biggest thing on defense, guys. I know we lost Mike Edwards on the 3rd play of the game last week, but Willie Gay is the spy. And once Willie Gay went out, like the 7th or 8th snap, Josh Allen took advantage of that. We need Willie Gay big time Sunday to keep Lamar Jackson from running as much. Lamar Jackson's going to get his rushing yards. Let's not front. Let's be honest.
11 for 100 against the Texans.
Yes, but Willie Gay has to be at play, and he has to be a spy. This is where Willie Gay is going to make his money in free agency next spring. This game, being a spy on Lamar Jackson. What do you think, Clint?
Shane, I'm going to tell you this. You've hit the nail right on the head because do you know why Willie Gay is a Chief right now? You may not, but it's because of the way that Willie Gay for the Mississippi State Bulldogs played against Lamar Jackson and Louisville in the 2017 Tax Slayer Bowl.
Talk to me. Keep
Shane,
talking.
You hit it right there, and the importance can't be overstated because that's why Willie Gay kind of flew up the boards there. He had some personal issues, some injuries, which dropped his stock a little bit. And that right there, the game he had against Lamar Jackson solidified it. So you're absolutely right. And, you know, Brian, you said some really poignant things. You said some great things today on the Blitz that really brought home and hammered home the chip that this team has on its shoulders. And before you came on, Brian, we talked about this road thing, and I want to go to you on this. this playing on the road. There's something different about it. I know this is crazy. I know this is going to be outlandish. I kind of like going on the road and playing this game. It gets played at Arrowhead. Are we wrong?
No, I completely understand what you're saying because petty playoff Patrick Mahomes, man. He's that guy. The good luck Instagram tweet post that he put up to Deion Dawkins, like he's waiting on somebody. He's waiting on somebody to fuel his tank up, his petty tank up. I'm telling you, dog, he's waiting on it. And Deion Dawkins did an interview on Good Morning Football where he's talking about Patrick Mahomes isn't thinking about that, bro. Yes, he is. He's thinking about these things during the game, dog. Are you nuts? That's how these guys sometimes get motivated because sometimes there isn't anything else to motivate them. Hence the Patriots. They used to make up stuff up all the time. Talking about they don't believe in us. What are you talking? You're 14-2 going into the playoffs, talking about nobody believes in you. So it's just those little things, man. And then going on the road and silencing the whole stadium. He's used to having 72,000 fans on his side cheering his every move. But I'm telling you, fellas, to play the villain part and to go into somebody else's stadium and to shut did you see Chris Jones dodging the snowballs? The middle fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different feeling. It's a different motivator. It's a different mindset you have when you're on the road as opposed to being in the comfy confines of Arrowhead, man.
And sometimes being humbled helps you a lot. And that happened when the Chiefs traveled and played their first original road game in the postseason when they played a Super Bowl game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think that really humbled the Chiefs and let them realize that, hey, we can't take anything for granted. No matter how well we're playing up into any big game, it only matters what we do in that game. And I think that those guys take a lot of that and say, hey, we have to step up. We have to make plays. If our brother falls, we make sure that we have his back. But I want to give a big shout out to a guy who really played good football and looks like a stud. Tamari Connor, man, that guy is a player. And to think that we're without Brian Cook, but to have him out there with his speed, the way that he was able to step up. I don't know if you guys like PFF. I'm not a big fan, but he was the number one defender last week.
Oh, I like it.
He was able to do some great things, and he brings us a little more speed to the back end compared to Edwards there. And then Deion Bush was able to do his part as well. So it was just an impressive game all around for the Chiefs, but I don't expect anything less. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I say it every show. They are the Lakers of the NFL now. And just like the Lakers, you expect greatness. You expect the same thing until the Chiefs are eliminated. It's not too great, but hey, it's still the Lakers at the end of the day.
Yes.
But yeah, the Chiefs, you're going to pick them until they lose, and that's what I'm going with, the Chiefs until they lose.
Amen to that.
Somebody said Clint and I are doubting Patrick Mahomes. We're not doubting Patrick Mahomes. We're doubting the Kadarius Tonys, the MVSs, the McCole Hardmans fumbling the game away, except we had a defense and to bail us out there and some missed.
That was a bad call.
I know y'all not giving McCole slack on that.
That's a bad call.
Twice. Only
It was
two times he had
a bad call.
Okay,
I mean,
now
I don't want to
the
spend a
other
lot of
fumble.
time talking negative, but let's be honest. McCole Hardman in the first game, playoff game, he didn't want to catch the football. In the second game, the only two times it was put in his hands, he fumbled. There's a concern there. I don't know if it's what was a sternum injury he suffered last year at the AFC Championship game, something that really devastated him. He's playing like he doesn't want to get hit. I mean, it shows. There's no effort with his arms to catch the football, and he's fumbling the football. Like I said, I hope Andy Reid gives that play the benefit of the doubt and puts in somebody else. I don't know. And there's somebody on the practice squad, but you know what I mean?
Just Isaiah Pacheco or
he just tried to make a play and it just happened to,
what are we talking about? I might have to leave the show again.
He tried to make a play. It was the wrong call. Pacheco just got you down there. You should have handed the ball off either to him or you should have went to Clyde on first down, then maybe do something tricky on second down. But for that to be the call was tough. He tried to make a play.
Reaching to the goal line?
Because he's trying to score. What are we talking about?
He was at the 2-yard line.
Let me get in. Please let me get in.
2-yard line.
This is my thing. Like, this is my thing, dog. Like, when
you just fumbled.
Let's say he doesn't try to score and then he fumbles. then what people gonna say? Well, he should have tried to score. Like, he's trying to make a play. And my whole thing is, and I'll just leave it here. My whole thing with McCole, he is a weapon. People pay attention to him on the field.
What?
He is.
First
off, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Let's not
only,
do this.
not only are we talking about, hold on, not only are we talking about, yes, he did fumble twice. And not only are we talking about the almost touchdown, but we're talking about when he should have got a pass interference later on in the game. Do we not remember that when the defender just grabbed the middle of his chest? Are we like that's not a weapon? Are we serious?
No, it's not. And Joe Theismann's going to be joining us in just a moment, so we're going to have to pull it together.
Have to pay attention to McCole Hardman when he's on the field.
Yeah,
fellas,
you can't not.
Hey, Brian, I understand the point you're making, but when you just fumbled the last time you had the ball, you can't be thinking of I'm going to stretch. You got to take it from the 4 to the 1 and go down. He just has to. Since he fumbled the last time, he had the ball at the 10-yard line. He can't fumble again. He just can't.
Yeah, but if he would have scored, we'd have heard everybody say, what a hell of a play, McCole, great job. He just happened to fumble, just like Connor.
Has this not been a pattern for 5 years? Have you not watched the same player I have for 5 freaking years?
Hey,
you guys are not serious.
Punts.
I swear to God, you guys cannot do this. You cannot ruin the AFC Championship game for me. I will not let you do it.
They tried to.
So years ago, when he fumbled,
keep us out of the game.
Wait, listen. Years ago, when McCole muffed the punt,
we're gonna pull it together.
We're gonna pull it together.
We're together.
Hey, it's
Joe Theismann. What is up,
Joe?
How you doing?
You've come at quite a contentious moment. We're trying to reel it in just a tad here.
Can I get the first question?
Well, yes, you may. Joe, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
We're trying to remain friends here. So,
Thank you for joining us, Joe. Appreciate you for joining us once again. But we were talking about, football is a game of inches, of course. But when you have a player like McCole Hardman, who, fumbled there late in the game, with you being the quarterback that you were, how great you were, how do you try to uplift a guy like that? Because he's a guy that can help with the type of speed that he has. I think he's a great decoy that keep defenses honest. What would you do to a guy like that to keep him inspired for possibly the next time he touches the ball?
The things, obviously, as a quarterback, you've had those situations. What I tried to do is say, look, man, I'll throw it better next time. I'll put it on me, not on him. I'll say, look, you know how important you are to us. Without you, we can't get the things done. And listen, I'll try and make it better for you. But I know you can get it done for us. I know you can do it. You've done it before. You can do it again. So let's go get them. That's the conversation you have to have. I've never been one to berate somebody or yell at somebody. Crying out, look at the catches that guys make in football today. How can anybody as a quarterback ever criticize anybody for a throw or a drop ball? I mean, they could come up to you and say, how could you throw that interception? How could you throw the ball in that direction? Nobody does that. I think really part of leadership is being able to get guys to raise their level to where it needs to be to help the team win.
I love it.
Now go get it.
Hey, thank you for joining the show, Joe. We just got through talking about like the Chiefs kind of like turning on the juice during the playoffs. And coming from a player of your experience, you've been to a couple different Super Bowls. Do you see that with this Chiefs team, with the offense now all of a sudden starting to get things together when everything was on the line and the playoffs started? Do you feel like there's like a extra sense of urgency, I guess, with the Chiefs now that we're in the playoffs?
Well, this is their 6th straight AFC Championship game, so they have an idea what's going on. Okay, Andy really doesn't have to say anything to anybody. The thing that separates this football team that we see as the Kansas City Chiefs today and last week from basically most of the year. Now, remember, they've never been notoriously fast starters anyway, but they've just dropped a lot of footballs. And now what you're seeing what happens when they catch the football. The plays have been designed. The plays have been there. The guys just haven't made plays. And what people don't really get into when it comes to a drop pass, it isn't just when the pass, it's not that the fact that the pass was dropped. It's when it was dropped. When in the game didn't you make the play? You know, if it's second down and 10 and I'm running a drag underneath and I expect you to get 6, it's a heck of a lot easier for Andy to call a 3rd and 4 than he is a 3rd and 10. Heck of a lot easier for the offensive line to be able to either run block or pass block on 3rd and 4 than it is on 3rd and 10. So to me, this football team looks like what everybody expected the Kansas City Chiefs to look like. They're making catches. They're making plays. You've got guys that are filling in, doing a great job. And, you know, I mean, Travis went through a stretch there where he put some on the ground. And he's a big part of what they do offensively. I look at this game here. I mean, look at the game. It tells you how important he is to this offense. And what's interesting, on the other side in Baltimore, Mark Andrews was the same way as Jason is, except the fact, or Travis, I'm sorry, well, Jason without a shirt, but the same way Travis is when it comes to catch. They're a very vital part of it. Now, Lamar has had to sort of change. They've had to change their offense a little bit because they didn't have that tight end position to rely on like they have in the past years, and they become a much more difficult offense to defend. But it's dropping balls. That's all it is. Yep. It's catching versus dropping.
Well, thank God they caught the balls last Sunday. Hey, Joe,
Hey,
without going through the 5 previous AFC Championship games and the 3 Super Bowls that Patrick Mahomes has played in, what stuns me, and I need you because I know you're going to call it right down the middle. What stuns me is that so many people predict against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, even if it is on the road, because so many times, I mean, Vegas has the Chiefs as the underdog going into Baltimore this Sunday. Are you shocked that so many experts and pundits pick against Kansas City on the biggest stage where Patrick Mahomes has been successful?
Well, let's keep in mind, going on the road, being a 3-point dog in Baltimore means it's a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I mean, look at every line out there. When you've got 2 really good football teams and the line is 2.5 or 3, what they're basically saying is we want money on this side of the ball. We want you to take KC +3. You know, evidently people have been on the other side at Baltimore -3. I mean, that's the gambling aspect of it. But when I see a line at 3, it's a pick 'em. That's the way I look at it. And in Patrick's case, Patrick is the most exciting, most enjoyable quarterback in football that I've seen in a long time. Lamar is fantastic. Lamar is a unbelievable athlete, and he's really become a terrific young quarterback. I mean, at first he was an athlete, and then he's developed. And we got to remember, this is the first time in 3 years we've seen Lamar really play in a playoff. So this is somewhat new to him. And when they talk about Patrick on the road, shoot, every one of those Super Bowls that he's played in have been on the road.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, you're not playing him in Kansas City yet. Going to happen. But I think Patrick and Andy as a combination, and boy, does this get lost in the conversation, guys. The importance of Alex being there, sort of mentoring him a little bit. We saw it with Jordan Love. I'm not surprised that these guys have gotten where they've gotten. Also, you see Jared Goff went from LA here. Okay. Purdy's been in the same system. He's sort of one of those phenomenons. I mean, you got 3 number 1 picks versus Mr. Irrelevant. How's that? But I think Patrick. I think the thing is Patrick has so much success, and you all know this. The more success you have, the more people don't like you. They root against you. They want something to happen to you because you're doing something very special. And I'm on the other side of that, man. Keep going. Keep put the pedal to the metal and keep rocking, Patrick.
That's the right answer on this show, Joe. So I got to kind of continue.
You should have heard me in Baltimore. Oh, no, I haven't done a Baltimore show.
Joe, I got to kind of continue on that and talk about Patrick Mahomes here and kind of ask you to put into context what we're seeing here. Him and Travis Kelce, 16 postseason touchdowns, most by a duo, passing Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, and already trying to catch Joe Montana and Tom Brady's ways away there, but 13 already in only 6 years in playoff wins for Patrick Mahomes. So if you can put into context just what we're seeing in the greatness that we have seen out of Patrick Mahomes, 6 straight AFC Championship games.
I believe that they have wonderful chemistry of understanding where you need to go. And Andy will design the routes. I mean, here's the problem with Travis. He's an inside receiver. Okay. He's not on the outside. So who are you going to cover him with? You're not going to bring a corner in because then they're going to run Pachenko right down your throat. Bottom line. So what happens is the mismatches are great against the defenders. Travis has a wonderful feel and a knack. Patrick knows where he's going to be. He can put the ball in a general vicinity. Doesn't have to be a perfect pass, which is great from a quarterback's perspective. But they have Art Monk was that for me. I talked about Travis this way. When Patrick gets in trouble, Patrick doesn't need to find Travis. Travis is going to find the sight line for Patrick. He looks around, see who's close, and then he moves into an area where he knows Patrick can get him the ball. And then you have the design routes where if he gets the time, he put like the corner routes he caught. The first one was just like, I'm really wide open, just throw me the ball. But I really feel like it. And like I say, Art Monk was that way for me. When I moved around, Art found me. And that's what Travis does so well. He finds Patrick. He finds his vision. He finds his sight line. And he makes himself available to make the plays.
And real quick here, we got a fan question from Ulfric Stormcloak. That's quite a name there. Where does Joe Theismann rank Mahomes in the all-time quarterback list right now?
Too early to tell. He's pretty young, but I mean, on the all-time list, I mean, look at the guys that are in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And I think that, I would do him an injustice until it wasn't finally settled of just how great he's going to be. How great he is, but how great he's going to be. Right now, I think he's the best in football. If I had to take if you really held my feet to the fire, I'd say he's top 5 in this league of being the greatest. I mean, you look at Montana, you look at Brady, look at Manning, those guys on that list, Terry. I mean, that's a pretty strong group of guys when it comes to playing the quarterback position. And Patrick is making a case to be something special. He is now. But what's really funny about Patrick? I had a chance to spend some time with him at the American Century Tournament last year. I was surprised how tall he was. Was he 6'3"?
I think he's 6'3".
Yeah. I made the mistake of standing next to him and getting a picture taken. I looked like the little guy who wandered in off the street and said, "Excuse me, sir, can I have my picture taken?" But I didn't realize how big he is, and just his creativity. And I think he's done a very good job of protecting the ball this year. A lot of times we see a lot of lookaways. We haven't seen a lot of lookaways this year. Look over here and throw the ball to the right. I mean, and I guarantee you, Andy's just having the time of his life with him. Really, you have to. And when you have someone of that much talent and that creativity, you have to sit down and say, okay, how do we challenge you? I remember talking to Tom Moore, who coached Peyton Manning. Tom, I believe, was in Tampa, I think, and I one of the teams. And I remember talking to Tom about Peyton. He said, I had to come up with different types of plays to motivate Peyton because he was so smart. He was so good at what he did. I had to continue to challenge him in some way. I think Andy does the same thing with Patrick.
That's interesting. Yeah. And, Joe, when you talk about back-to-back Super Bowl champions, we haven't seen it in 20 years. The Patriots in 03 and 04. The Chiefs had their chance in 19 and 20, weren't able to get it done in Tampa Bay. You won your first Super Bowl in 1983 and fell short in the second one. Can you just talk about kind of the pressure, the mindset, the difference between winning that first Super Bowl and trying to win 2 Super Bowls in a row and why it's so difficult for teams to do?
Well, first of all, it's 17 games now. Fortunately, they had a chance to get a little breather, but it's 17 games now. I played in 14 originally, and then I played in 16. I thought 16 was a lot. Then you get into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden you get that 17th game, and can you get people healthy? Can you keep the rhythm going? Can you keep the guys engaged? And so now I think that this is a football team that knows what's out there in front of them. Literally, Andy Reid only needs to walk into the meeting and say, guys, you know what it's about. We've been here before, but we cannot allow this to slip away. Nobody's thinking about 2 in a row. All they're thinking about is beating Baltimore. And that's the one thing that Andy's been able to do is he's really been able to keep his football team focused on the task at hand, not what's laying out there in front of them. Because if Baltimore's had that happen where they've gone in as a favorite and all of a sudden, somebody else winds up going to the dance and you're sitting there wondering what happened. I really feel like that both of these football teams are extremely well coached. Both coaches have, coached a lot of playoff games. Both of them understand each other. And I tweeted out, by the way, at Theismann7, that's my Twitter. I'm back on Twitter. But I tweeted out these games, oh darn. These games are going to boil down to kickers. We saw it in the Buffalo game. We saw it in the Green Bay game. I was fortunate enough to have the pleasure and opportunity to play with Mark Mosley, who, by the way, I believe was the only kicker who was the MVP of the National Football League in the years of all of these, let's say post Super Bowl years, or he's the only one to ever do it. And if it wasn't for Mark, we would have never gotten there in '82. And that's the value in these type of games that gets lost, because that kick in the first quarter is either going to, or a missed extra point is going to come back and haunt you at some point in time, because the teams they're too evenly matched right now. I think San Francisco has a little bit of an edge over Detroit in this game, only simply because they're on the road. Detroit at home would have been difficult to deal with. They're on the road, but Jared Goff's been there before. I mean, it's nothing new. And it doesn't look like any rain, so Brock ought to be comfortable, because when I saw him wiping his hands during the course of that game last week, and then he had a lot of balls sort of scored away on him. That won't happen. They're both basically at full strength, and so it'll be exciting. And this one here is going to boil down to maybe 3 plays. What I ask people to do sometimes is take a piece of paper. Put it right next to your beer, right next to your, nachos, whatever, wings, whatever. Put it right. And when you see a play that you think is going to make a difference, just jot it down. You're probably going to see 5, maybe 6 through the course of a game.
Wow.
Everything else is guys running into one another, and, a tackle for a yard, tackle for this, a 20-yard gain. That's sort of a check mark. But you're going to see guys making plays, and that's the team that's going to win. The ones that can make the plays are the one that's going to win. And it's always been that way. I mean, the kicking game, special teams, you get a punt return, you get a, kickoff return. Hey, it makes a world of difference in these games. You get up 2 scores. Well, you can't sit back. We've seen that happen. You just can't relax.
Yeah. These are probably for the best kickers.
Fun ones. Yeah. The kickers are, they sort of go to a field by themselves. It's like, hey, you're a member of the team, but get out of here. We're practicing. Go someplace. Go take the center that the holder. See, I used to hold, so I couldn't go. Mark had to wait till I was done working.
Oh, we can't treat Bucker like that at all.
No,
at all. Hey, Joe. So, just a question. I want to see what you think. Do you think there's any advantage for the Chiefs, the fact that they just played Josh Allen, who's a running quarterback, very similar in that style to Lamar Jackson? And what are the differences between the two that the Chiefs are going to have to be ready for? Because for me, I feel that with Josh Allen, you can't just let him sit in the pocket, that he will tear you apart. So they had to do enough to try to pressure him a little, where I've watched some Raven games and I see some teams just kind of sitting 4 and say, hey, we want to keep him in the pocket as much as possible, because if he can get loose, then we're really in trouble. So I want to know what's your thoughts on the differences between the two.
First of all, I think it is an advantage that they played Josh. I really do. Big guy. And what they did so well is they managed to keep him in the pocket. You didn't see him get out, and the speed, the linebackers are the key here. You cannot put a spy on Lamar. If you put a spy on them, then they're going to run tight ends behind you. They're going to run in routes. The middle of the football field is going to become very vulnerable. And so they can't really put a spy on them. They're going to have to push the pocket back into him and try and make it crowded. You want to make it uncomfortable for him. You want him to not be able to get it out as quick as he wants to, and then you don't want to give him an escape path. You give Lamar a lane to go, he's gone. There's no hesitation there. Josh still tries to throw the football. We saw a couple times where he'd run and then throw the ball out to the left or to the right. Lamar's going to take off and go on you. And then now you got a real challenge trying to bring them down. But I think there is an advantage playing against someone that is as mobile as Josh Allen if you're getting ready to play Lamar Jackson. Different types of offenses. When you really look at the Bills, they're a wide receiver-based offense. They want to push the ball down the field. Baltimore will not do it as much. The one thing I think Lamar's done very well is dumping the ball down. If it's a 4-yard gain, great. If my running back is 5 yards down the field and he gets tackled, that's great. We'll take 2nd and 5. Heck, we'll take 3rd and 5. But I think he's done a wonderful, masterful job handling the football. Much like you see, Patrick's done the same thing. Patrick holds it a little bit longer. He has there's so many things that I love about the way he plays the position. And, it's like it's watching an artist. He holds it just long enough. He can make, he throws the ball going to his left darn well as well as he throws it to his right. I mean, just like I say, he's masterful in his way of doing it, and Lamar is masterful in the way that he is doing it.
So here in Kansas City, I talk a lot about on my morning show about us being in the golden age of Kansas City because businesses are booming here. Our sports teams, well, the Chiefs are booming. The Royals 9 years ago.
I was going to say, you're living in the past a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, I was, man. But no, Sporting KC, they have won championships too. But there's a lot going on in our city. The U.S. the Cup is coming here. World Cup is coming here. We had the draft. A lot of things going on here.
Taylor Swift.
And I'm seeing. I
figured that.
I'm seeing a lot of similarities with the city of Detroit. And, they're going through a renaissance with all of their teams now downtown. Joe, I just wanted you to talk about, because you brought Washington their first Super Bowl win. And Detroit, we all know they haven't even been to the bowl yet. And I know how it felt for us. Playoffs. Yes, exactly. And I know how it felt for us for winning the Super Bowl after 50 years. Like, we were going crazy here. I just want you to expand on the impact that the city has on its team, and does the fandom really energize the team in the locker room, and does that carry out on the field?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why everybody plays their rear end off for home field advantage. You want to be at home. You want to be in front of your fans. Yeah, I don't know whether Detroit would have beat the Rams had they been on the road. You look at the offsides that were called, the illegal motions. All you need is somebody to jump once. If it's 3rd and 1 and somebody jumps, all of a sudden it's 3rd and 6. Changes everything, changes the ball game. So we saw it in Philadelphia. We saw it in the Super Bowl a year ago in Philadelphia. One little miscue changes everything that goes on. I think Kansas City has always been a rabid, great fan base. And, one of my dear friends, Jonathan Thomas, has American Century Investments there as well. Let me just say something about this Kansas City-based company. And you talk about how wonderful they are. They give away over 40% of their net proceeds to the Stour Institute there in Kansas City for research. Think about 40% of the net profits go for research to help find diseases for people. I mean, it's just, the benevolence, the warmth, the warmth of the Midwest. I went to school in the Midwest. Everybody loves everybody in the Midwest. I think it's just, it's sort of an easier going way. And I think what's going on with Travis and Taylor is just wonderful. I think I'm excited that she's such an excited fan for her guy and this football team. And, she's especially extremely talented young lady, extremely talented business person. And I'm happy for those guys and having a good time. And I was surprised during the telecast when Travis did the heart thing, they didn't say a word.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Hey, why not? Right? Why not? If your mom's sitting there and you make a play, you go up and give her the ball and give her a hug and give her a kiss. And, if somebody you care about's watching you do what you're doing, hey, good for you.
Amen to that. Hey,
Joe, I just wanted to kind of continue with that and to talk about fans that are upset about Taylor Swift, and it blows their minds. We're here for football. We don't want these cutaways of Taylor Swift, even though it maybe adds up to 30 seconds of a 3-hour-long football game, but they're so angry and they're tired of it and they just want football.
Well, the funny thing is there isn't one play of action. If you're watching the football game, there isn't one play of action that is missed because the camera panned to Taylor. You don't, if you're a football fanatic, that's what you're getting. You're getting the football. This just happens to be a part of this thing called entertainment that we call football. It's all part of the package. And I think that, people who get upset, I don't know what they're upset about. You're not missing any football. You're there to root and cheer for your team. You're there, to either root against the Chiefs or root for the Chiefs. And they're not taking anything away. Matter of fact, I think she's added to what the NFL really has become, I think, the greatest spectacle sport that we have.
Amen.
And it's fun. I get a kick out of it. I think it's really neat. I really do. Plus, she's talented as all get out, and I'm trying to get some tickets. So I'm doing everything.
We'll put you on the list
to her, and she will get you tickets for that ringing endorsement, my friend.
Hey, Joe, you talk about Patrick holding on to the ball which he does, and he uses that to the best of his ability because he's always finding somebody down the field when it looks like the play breaks down. When you were making plays out of the pocket, when you were holding on to the ball, getting out of the pocket, who were you looking for? Alvin Garrett, Art Monk, Charlie Brown, or Joe Washington?
Really, it was Art. Art was the one. Art was our move guy. Here's something very few people know. Alvin played wide receiver on the right normally. Virgil was on the left. Charlie was in the slot, and Art was our move guy. And the reason we moved Art, when Joe Gibbs first came to Washington, we lined up Art outside at the Z position, which is one of the wide receiver positions. But Art was a running back at Syracuse. He couldn't get away from a bump and run. That was at a time when guys used to beat the living daylights out of wide receiver.
Yeah.
And not only after 5 yards. I mean, all the way down the field, you got the living daylights beat out of you. So Coach Gibbs, in his infinite wisdom, says, hey, how about if we move him, let him try and hit a moving target? And that's really how Art became our move guy and was able to, do the things that he did become a Hall of Fame wide receiver. But he was always the one, like I say, he found me more than I found him.
That's cool.
Well, as we're kind of nearing the end here, Joe, I got to ask you about what's going on in your neck of the woods out there in Washington, D.C. area, the Washington Commanders, Ron Rivera, parting ways with him, and kind of seeing some rumors about people that the Commanders have interviewed, Bobby Slovic from the Texans, or DC, Coach McDonald from the Ravens here, who are playing the AFC Championship game, and maybe even Eric Bieniemy. And where does a guy like Eric Bieniemy land? How do you feel like he handled his first and maybe only year in Washington, and where do you see this thing going forward here?
I think Eric did a terrific job trying to learn what he had to work with. I mean, when you have a football team that has the most sacks in the league, it's tough to be able to call plays. Now, that's just sacks. That doesn't count how many times Sam got hit. I would say that number is probably over 100. So of all the plays, all the pass plays that were run, and they threw him more than anybody, he was exposed an awful lot. And we wound up in games where we didn't get ahead. You can't protect your quarterback when you're playing from behind all the time. I thought Eric did a terrific job trying to learn what he had. And it's like quarterbacks playing for the first time. Now, C.J. Stroud is an exception to the rule. I thought he had a terrific year. But we haven't seen many rookies come in, just like you haven't seen many coaches go from one place to the other and without the help of that football team, be able to do what they want to do. Eric's a heck of a football coach. He's got a great football mind. It just so happens that he was on a football team that, couldn't protect the quarterback. And then we lose our running back from time to time. Have other one, then you put the ball on the ground. Game's all about mistakes. Like I said, if you look at Kansas City through a lot of the year, the ball was on the ground. You look at them the last 2 weeks and they're world champs. They look like world champs.
Yeah.
But I think, I would like to see Eric stay. Don't know who's going to wind up being the head coach. Dan Quinn's coming in for another interview. Raheem Morris is coming in for an interview. Ben Johnson, I think they're going to try and go see him. So there's lots of names out there that the ownership group is spending a lot of time taking a look at people.
Joe, did you take any joy in seeing, as a former Washington Redskin, seeing the Cowboys get knocked out by the 7-seed Packers? Did you smile on your face right there?
No, not me. No, not you know what? I was surprised. I really was. I really was surprised what Green Bay did in that football game. But then again, I was surprised what happened to Dallas. But Matt LaFleur I thought, called a masterful game.
Yeah.
Joe Barry did a great job as a defensive coordinator, handling what Dallas wanted to do. You know, CD Lamb was their bell cow. He was the guy, and I think they threw enough up there at Dak that it forced him to hesitate just for a second on different occasions. But that's the difference in the games. And when you throw interceptions that get run back, all of a sudden you work too hard to get those points, and they just all of a sudden evaporate. And I thought that section right there where the 2 pickoffs came was the nail that nailed them, to be honest with you. But the Cowboys are a football team that extremely talented. Over the last 3 years, have won 12 football games, and yet they can't figure out a way to beat good football teams. They won 12, but look at the 4 that they lost. Look at who they lost to.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's I think, I don't know, Mike's going to be there, and you have to look at this football team and say, okay, we're good enough to line up and actually beat people. We are. In our division, it has, Philadelphia had a really off year. They really did. Everybody hurt and everything else. Washington, same thing. You're struggling. The Giants, back and forth. Towards the end of the year, the Giants, became more of a pain in the neck because they were. But and then you look at some of the teams that beat them and say, yeah, those teams are possibly at another level. And I think that's where Jerry wants to get this football team. I would study the teams that beat me and figure out why they beat me. I know how they beat me, but I want to know why.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's but they're not there and we're not there, and there's 4 great teams that are going to play, and it's going to be a great Sunday.
Speaking of that, last thing before we get you out of here, we got to get your championship predictions for the AFC and NFC, and then we're going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City on Radio Row, so we'll have to have you on for an interview when we're there and get your Super Bowl prediction then.
I
hope you're coming this year.
I knew you were planning on it.
Yes.
I knew you were going to do this. I think San Francisco will beat Detroit in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Kansas City plays the way they've been playing, I think they can win. I think Baltimore presents a bigger problem to them than any defense they've faced. And I believe in defenses. So I'm going to, don't hate me. Okay. I think it's going to be the Ravens, the number 1 seeds. I think the 2 number 1 seeds are going to go at it. But I mean, if Kansas City wound up going to another Super Bowl, wouldn't surprise me in the least. Like I said, it's a pick 'em.
Yeah.
It's basically a pick 'em. I'm being honest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No question, Joe. Well, last time we saw you in person was at LA. We all had our masks on at LAX, saying hello. This year, no masks. It's Vegas. It's going to be a bit of a different vibe. We're going to hopefully have you. Last time, your girl that handles all your interviews stiffed us, so we're going to make sure this year, we're getting it. So we'll see you in a couple weeks, I guess, Joe.
You got your request in early, absolutely.
That's
guys.
right.
Yes.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Joe.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Great visiting with you. Take care.
You too.
Yeah, take care. Have a good one.
Cool.
That was former Super Bowl
Great job.
champion, former NFL MVP, Joe Theismann, who's on the Ravens this weekend. And you know what? It's hard to argue it. You're going to see it all week. You're going to see back and forth. You're going to see people that believe this Chiefs team is for the corner, and you're going to see people that believe that the Ravens are too much of a complimentary football team, too good of a defense, Lamar playing great. You're going to see the ebb and flows all week, and we'll see where some of the allies lie in this as we go forward, as we head towards our predictions here in just a minute. But great stuff from Joe Theismann. I love the man, and hopefully see him in a couple weeks.
He needs to be in somebody's broadcast booth. Okay,
Yes, sir.
like
Agreed.
Joe
1000%.
still sounds like he's in prime ESPN Sunday Night Football mode.
Doesn't he?
Okay,
Yeah, he does.
I'm in it. I'm
Absolutely.
up
Like
for
that.
that.
and for the youngins who's tuned in to the allies, yes, Sunday Night Football used to be exclusively on ESPN, sometimes on TNT too. That's super old school. That's like early to mid 90s football with
Yeah, I
Vern
don't remember
Lundquist.
that.
You see, even Michael don't remember it. Clinton
Yeah.
and Noah,
I
y'all
remember
remember
ESPN.
TNT Thursday Night Football?
Oh,
don't you?
yes.
That's
Oh,
great.
my.
I pretend that I'm 30 and have no clue what you're talking about, but I'm
Oh,
40.
yes, you do.
Playoff career here. Looks like Travis Kelce in the next couple of years can catch and surpass Jerry Rice in receptions and touchdowns. Yards is going to be tough unless he plays several more years, but man, just what he's been able to do with
Crazy.
Patrick Mahomes is insane.
Bro, it's crazy. This is why personally it's crazy for me. Because my older brother, shouts to him. Big love to my older brother, John. He was a 49ers fan, man. And so I've had to grow up in the shadows of these 5 championships and Jerry Rice being stuck in every single argument that we have. And to see that Travis Kelce could possibly overtake him in a category of receiving in the NFL playoffs, bro, it's mind-blowing. I said it on the Blitz, man. It's mind-blowing what Travis Kelce has been able to accomplish from the 7 straight seasons of 1,000 yards by a tight end to these the 16 touchdowns with Patrick Mahomes in the postseason to now he's trying to catch individual records with Jerry Rice. He's a tight end. We forget he's a tight end, bro.
Yeah.
So like it's man, look, it's mind blowing. Let's appreciate it and love it the way it needs to be.
I just got a text from Joe Theismann that said, "Thank you guys. That was amazing. That was so much fun." That stuff means a lot to us because here on Arrowhead Allies, it's not like any Chiefs show you'll ever see. There's a lot of them out there. On this show, this is the best guess, the most intense interaction, I guess we could say, as before.
Joe, we got to get McCole on here. We got to get McCole on here.
He might come on with you 3. I don't know if Clint and I are allowed to be there. But.
Yeah. Honesty is still part of journalism, right?
Yeah, apparently not. Not on this show. Hard to be honest about. It's like I assume I don't have any kids. I assume it's like if you're a parent, are you one of those parents that like believe in everything that your kid? Yeah. My son said he was gonna like go get his master's in college and stay away from the drugs and the partying. Of course he is. There's a couple people in here that aren't able to. Well, no, I don't. No, I wasn't. I didn't have a 2.7 GPA. I couldn't get into no Mizzou, man.
What was your GPA in high school?
Oh gosh, I can't. I don't have enough fingers for it.
It probably was about like 2.7, something around there.
Yeah.
Did you graduate lottie dottie? We like the potty.
Yeah, that.
Okay. All right.
ESPN put out this photo of Patrick Mahomes there in Buffalo, and it says Mahomes' house, and that's a Bengals fan. If you can see it up there, where he says, "But when." Never mind. But when they said Burrowhead, everyone had a problem with it. The problem with that is Bengals players and fans were all saying Burrowhead. This is something ESPN put out. No Chiefs fan or player said this is Mahomes' house. So I have a problem with that. But then on the other side, Mahomes is amazing. Another stat. There you go.
Oh, you talking about, and they said Burrowhead before the game was actually played. Matter of fact, they said it in that stadium.
During the Buffalo game.
In the Bill Stadium. So that's where the Bengals messed up at.
You're right. Apples to oranges. Yeah.
And then Bills fans are just upset, talking all sorts of trash. We hate Taylor Swift. We're burning a little wooden stick and photo of her on it and a trash can of flame. They're only doing that because they're jealous. They passed on Mahomes.
Okay, you need to take this graphic off right now.
Yeah,
don't do Patrick like that.
Yeah,
we wanted Patrick, but no, we got him. And then Taylor Swift, they're jealous that she's not there at Bills games with Josh Allen. And the Bills train is off the rails.
Hey, shout out to Buffalo because not only did they trade us Patrick Mahomes, thank you guys, they also dropped the ball and not jumping ahead and drafting Trent McDuffie, giving us an all-pro corner as well. So, shout out to Buffalo. They're just the team that just loves giving, especially to the Chiefs in the postseason. But I'm tired of the disrespect to Taylor Swift and everybody saying they're showing her too much. She's Taylor freaking Swift. What do you think they're going to do? If people forget when the Toronto Raptors made their finals run, you saw Drake so much on the TV screen. You thought he was a part of the team, So that's why all this Taylor Swift stuff, hey, she's Taylor Swift. The Chiefs are winning. As long as they're winning, keep showing Taylor because it's good luck, baby.
Hey, let's ask DDT how his vacation is going.
He hasn't been on in a couple weeks.
DDT, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
How the off season going for you? The season's still going.
They hired
the quarterback, and the Chiefs are in trouble.
In trouble. Okay.
They sell it DDT. I don't think they bought it.
Tom Brady. Here comes Tom Brady, huh?
They got Antonio Pierce. They got their coach.
They did. They caved and hired the coach. Their defensive end said, "I will request a trade if they don't hire him." They did. They hired that man. So good job, DDT.
John Harrison asking if we saw the video of Gabe Davis arguing with fans. I did see that. I have saved it, and we will be posting that after this show. Thank you very much.
Don't sign him, Chiefs, please.
Please stay far away.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Let's do
Shane,
it. Let's talk about.
Are we
Let's
ready?
talk about the big weekend.
I'm not. I'm so scared.
What?
Gotta do
Scared
it.
again.
What?
It's prediction time, baby.
I think your
Yeah.
crow is ready, Noah and Clint. I
Yeah.
think it's ready. I should go get it.
I need to get mine for the receivers. So
And they don't need the crow.
we can all eat crow about different things. Everyone's eating crow about different wrongs that they've had this season. So it'll be fun.
They don't need to eat crow because they're going to be eating raven after
There you go.
this Sunday.
Both Raven, nevermore.
It's a little
because-
gamier of a meat. Yeah.
But because the Chiefs are going to find a way to take care of business. They've been here, they've done it, they have added motivation. Like Joe Theismann said, sometimes with guys, you just have to give them something else to get them excited. Patrick Mahomes is in his Black Mamba bag. He has accepted being the villain, and he's like, yo, I love that feeling of showing up to somebody's stadium and leaving their fans throwing snowballs, everything they can at me. And I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to come out and have a great game. People aren't talking about Spags enough. Spags is a guy that seems to always finds a good game plan to help the Chiefs defeat the Ravens. They're 3-1 against Lamar Jackson. Of course, the last time they played, Lamar had to make a crazy comeback, which he did. They won 38-35, where Mahomes had a chance to finish him off. But it's going to be Spags. It's going to be Mahomes, Kelsey, Pacheco. The Chiefs are going to win 28-24. The Chiefs will be heading back to the Super Bowl to face off against the team that started the season playing against, the Detroit Lions. Chiefs, Lions, Super Bowl.
Shane's
in Vegas.
prediction. Shane's prediction.
It comes true.
Take it, Brian.
Man, this is another opportunity for playoff Patrick Mahomes to go in and send another team home, send them on vacation. And I cannot see this man losing in the postseason this year with all of these teams. Because love to the Ravens, but they have flaws too, fellas. Their defense is legit, it is, but I feel like the Chiefs can really handle them with our defensive game plan. And with that being said, I got the Chiefs winning 26-23. 26-23 will be a lot of field goals, I think, as the Chiefs will head to Super Bowl 58 in Vegas to face the 49ers. 49ers not losing.
Not a rematch. I hate rematches.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kansas City Chiefs freaks worldwide of all ages. When it comes to the playoffs, you do not pick against these two.
That's right.
When it comes to the playoffs, you do not pick against experience. Now, Joe Theismann, he was just on here, NFL legend. He went with the Ravens. But the Chiefs, the way they play with their experience, they don't make any mistakes, and I believe they won't. We'll win this game 28-23. And as I said on our show with Charlie Batch, way back on day after Labor Day, your Kansas City Chiefs will face the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. Talk to me, Mr. Electricity.
Oh,
what
not
you got?
me. Not me, please. No, I said it. I'm a changed man. This is a different person. You guys have to understand. I've seen the error of my ways, because watching Patrick Mahomes, watching this Chiefs team win in thrilling fashion, it is crack cocaine to me. Inject it into my veins. Is that how you take crack? Okay.
Nah, man.
Beside the point.
Man.
I'm out of my element.
Into your veins.
I'm out of my element. Heroin. I'm out of my element. The conventional wisdom, conventional football wisdom says the Ravens are the better team with a slightly better defense, with a offense that's got the better running game, that's got Lamar Jackson, who's playing at an MVP clip. I'm done with conventional football, occurrences. The Kansas City Chiefs have done it too many times. I've seen it for the last 5 years. The entire decade of my 30s now has almost been taken up by magical Chiefs moments, and I will not go against it again. The Chiefs win this game. What we haven't seen all year, guys, is Mahomes' magic on a last-second drive to win a game. He hasn't done it this year. This is the day it happens, and it's 23-21. The Chiefs win the game by 2 points on a last final minute Chiefs drive that puts it in the end zone and sends the Chiefs and the Chiefs to the Super Bowl to play the 49ers, rematch of Super Bowl 54, ho-hum, whatever. But 58 for 58. Derek Thomas gets us over the hump, gets us to Vegas.
Yeah, man. Clint said he's a changed man. Am I? I don't know. I've got, is this a raven? Is this a crow? I'm not eating the crow. That can get out of here. Until these guys eat crow, I'm not eating crow because they were wrong about these receivers. And I have not seen one crow eaten on this show since I did last year. I will not be doing it again. But like Clint said, the analysis, grinding the all 22, like they say on First Things First, Chris Broussard, Nick Wright, Kevin Wilds. This doesn't make sense for the Chiefs to win this game. The Ravens are the better football team. The defense, you mentioned the run game. You mentioned Lamar Jackson, how much trouble we had. I know there were some backups, even stopping Easton Stick running all over us. Then we saw what Josh Allen was doing running all over us. And so everything points to me predicting that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens move on to Super Bowl 58, but not so fast.
Yeah.
Even though the analysis says Ravens win, I've got 2 words for you that defies all analysis in the universe.
Preach it.
And yes, Brian, those 2 words, as they said with DX, can be suck it, Ravens. But for me and for this Chiefs team and the dynasty in 6 straight AFC championships, my 2 words are Patrick Mahomes defies the odds. The odds are against us in Vegas and in the analysis, but Mahomes takes us to Super Bowl 58 against the 49ers.
Yeah, baby. Next Tuesday's going to be sweet because we're going to be celebrating with you. Come back and join us on Arrowhead Allies, baby.
Or I'll be in some foreign island with never to be seen again. Go either way.
But all we got to say to the rest that's left of this show is go
Chiefs!